Random thought. Can a vacation romance, aka a travel fling, work in the real world? Nubia Mahogany says anything's possible. And Baby Doll says usually vacay romances are full of lust. I don't think relationships with a foundation of getting your freak on can work, in my opinion.
I kind of disagree with Baby Doll there because
Why?
majority of all relationships start out with lust.
That's what I was thinking.
So doesn't matter if you're in Aruba or you're at a bar in
Arkansas.
Houston. Yeah, you're in Little Rock, Arkansas. It always starts out as lust, but sometimes that fire between two people is strong. Like you ever, kiss somebody and you just know from that kiss, like, oh my God, we are in sync.
You're not
We
like
have
Jody.
chemistry.
I feel nothing.
Exactly. Like you have chemistry and then you just keep exploring. The more you get to know the person, you see what more commonalities you have. And then, you can get into a relationship. So I disagree. I think all relationships start out with lust at first.
Well, maybe not all, because some start out in friendship, right?
Arranged marriages.
That's right. I forgot who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
The person who doesn't have a friend and then go, okay, yeah, let's try this out. Many people, on the other hand, have.
Right.
Betty B says most relationships may start with lust, but vacation romances may also add in lots of alcohol.
Depends. Not everybody drinks like that.
True.
Yeah. It just all depends. I think anything's possible.
People don't have to go on vacation to drink.
Right. I got some
just
Tito's
saying.
right downstairs.
You don't have to be on vacation to drink.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, if you're thinking of the vacation, it's like the club night. When you used to go clubbing all the time, you club, you drink. Yes, I do understand that a lot of hookups happen because of alcohol and being involved, right? Because inhibitions are tossed to the side, and that's what it is. So that is a very true statement with the alcohol, but it's also this freeing thing. Like, I think the great philosopher Christopher Rockenstein used to say, women don't count when they went to Jamaica. That was another country. That don't count.
Well, Lois Lane says, I'm Sasha
See?
Fierce on vacation, but I'm just working class Lois Lane at home. And that's true. I think some people, when they go on vacation, they let the freak flag fly. They figure that I'm not going to run into people I know. I'm not going to run into coworkers. I'm going to get loose and do the things I can't do back at home.
Black Biker Weekend, Kappa Beach Weekend. I'm just saying, we've seen all these, right?
I agree.
It happens. So I think it's more than just the alcohol when it comes to, it's letting the inhibitions fly. And I think that's where you get that part of it. And does it then become that same fun person when you get back to it? So let me ask you the question, Tara. Do you think that a vacation romance / travel fling can work in the real world?
Yes, I do think it can work. But it depends on if you have the means to make it work. So if a guy goes to, I'll say Aruba again. A guy goes to Aruba, lives in Houston, goes to Aruba because his parents were going and they paid for his ticket out there because he didn't have any money. And then he
This is a
meets
broke
somebody.
man you're talking about.
Yeah, so he meets somebody out there and they have a great time. They have a fling. It's Aruba. They have a good time. And she lives in California. Well, when they come back to the States, he can't afford those trips back and forth to California.
Right.
So if you have the means to make it work, sure. Now, I think it works better if you're in the same country. That makes it a whole lot easier to make it work. But if I met somebody, I went to Egypt like on 90 Day and I live here in Austin, no.
And that person lives in England? You don't think that's going to work?
For me, no. No, I don't have the patience for all that FaceTiming and all that would take in between seeing each other. And then those are some expensive trips, and that stuff adds up. And you got to say, is it really worth it? Then you got to be like on 90, I love you, you love me. Why don't you come to the States? But I need a visa. Well, I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're paying for ruse and sending out money to people, and it never works out. So I think if you live in the same country, yes, it can work, and you have the means to travel.
Now, Kaki says a vacation romance can work, but the likelihood of it working is very slim. True. And the reasons why is why I kind of go on the other side of it. Like, okay, can it work in the real world? It's like what we watch with Married at First Sight. They meet these. Married at First Sight is the perfect example of meeting somebody on vacation.
Right.
Because you meet them at the altar with a lot, except Married at First Sight is a lot more commitment. You
Right.
get married, you say, I do. You sleep in the same room, same bed the first night. Then you go on vacation. That's when you get to know this person. And things can work out well sometimes for some of the couples. But then you get back to the real world. And that's when everything starts to kick in. I think that's the thing. The real world does not really allow for those types of flings to work 99.9% of the times.
I agree, the real world doesn't, but I also think it's about mindset, right? If I go into it like, hey, I just met a beautiful girl here in Aruba, but this is probably not going to work out. Well, it's not with that attitude. But, but why not just, hey, see what happens? You're on vacation, you can hang out. If it clicks and it's good, and then you exchange numbers and social media contacts and you stay in touch and you can make it work. Who knows? But I wouldn't want to go into it just automatically just thinking, yeah, well, the likelihood of this working is slim. So what's the point?
So M. Smith says the real world will mess up a good thing anytime. Yes, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Because when you get back to reality, reality can upset that vacation. You're in a bubble. And when you're in that bubble, things are amazing in that bubble. But then responsibilities and bills and work and friends and that other fling you had, that all comes back into
life.
play.
Your wife, your husband. All the things you got to deal with when you get home.